Birmingham, the city of culture, creativity and diversity. With a population of over 1.8 million, it is clear to see why the city is flooded with business and art, not to forget the incredible history. However, big cities like these come with big problems. Knife crime, the growing epidemic that has increased by 80% in the last 5 years.
6 more people have been stabbed.
Last night there was another attack.
On the up is knife crime
for fatal stabbings.
We are in the city of Birmingham to get opinions from members of the public about knife crime. In 2017, the rate of violence against a person increased by 22%. Homicides, including murder and manslaughter, have increased by 6%. Domestic burglary has increased by more than 30% in the last year. In September 2017, there were 291,915 domestic burglaries. There were 40,829 offences involving knives in 2018. 39% of British homicides in 2018 were resulted from stabbings. We spoke to members of the public to see what their opinions were on the increase of knife crime.
My opinion, well, it absolutely seems to be out of hand now. Everywhere you go, every time you turn on the radio or the television, it's all about stabbing all the time.
We also sat down with Alison Cope, who unfortunately lost her son to a knife-involved crime. She told us about her views on the media using headlines to scare members of the public.
That you think, oh, a rapper, a grime MC, grime, they must have been involved in something. So the reason a lot of people are scared of knife crime is because we're not explaining behind the headline that it was a fight in a park at 1 o'clock in the morning. Because then we'd need to think, well, why were people in the park at 1 o'clock in the morning? If they hadn't been, then they probably wouldn't have, got involved in a situation. So I think the media is scaring a lot of people.
And as living in Birmingham yourself, how do you feel about the statistics that are saying that Birmingham in the next few years or months could be worse than somewhere like London?
Yeah, I mean, statistically it's showing that you're more likely to be stabbed in Birmingham than you are in London. Yep. For me, all I can say is I live in Birmingham, I spend every day travelling around and I've never ever come across someone with a knife. But yeah, if I was out at night and I was, involved in certain things, there's probably a very high risk chance I'd come lost rather than the other way around.
Before the incident with your son, did you hear a lot about knife crime in the news and what were your opinions on it before?
I was like everyone else really. I saw it on the news and just thought, well, it doesn't affect me and it hasn't happened near me and it doesn't concern anybody I know or care about, and that was it. If I'm really honest, I just thought, oh, that's terrible, that's a real shame, and then carried on with my life. It's only when it hits home to you that you realise the reality of it and how that one loss in your life will never ever go, Josh is never ever coming back to me, ever. No matter how hard I work, no matter how many lives I changed, he's never going to come back to me, and that's the reality of it.
With knife crime offences drastically increasing, one of the biggest questions is why do people feel the need to carry a knife with them, especially young people?
I mean, when we were kids, many years ago, you always had a gang, you had a gang of friends. We never felt the need to carry weapons. I wonder why they do it. I don't understand why they do it. I don't understand why they do it. I don't understand why they do it.
Skips production.
Music has been said to be one of the biggest influences on knife crime, and it is easy to see why. With drill rappers being involved in knife crime offences, is the genre one of the reasons why we are seeing young people carry knives and being involved in the same offences?
Josh is never ever coming back to me, ever. No matter how hard I work, no matter how many lives I changed, he's never going to come back to me, and that's the reality of it.
The funeral was held today of a rap artist from Birmingham who was stabbed to death last month.
In pouring rain, Joshua Ribera arrived at St Martin in the Bullring today, surrounded by family and hundreds of mourners.
Son Joshua, who's 18, so a bit older than Kyron, he was murdered in 2013.
Joshua performed at the event and he got into a minor argument with another 18-year-old boy. That boy left the club and he was actually a knife carrier, and he waited for Joshua. The argument escalated and Joshua stabbed once in the heart and passed away 7 hours later.
I smoke Wonder every time my lungs are heavy, now I'm on waves like say I jumped the ferry.
Joshua Ribera, also known as Depsman, was a British rap grime artist considered by some as a leading artist on the UK grime scene. At just 18 years old, his first album, Too Real, was released and reached #1 on the iTunes hip-hop chart.
When I'm on road, just knowing that you ain't here, don't feel the same. I miss you, bro, love you, bro. Swear I wish I could hug you. Preach around the ends, better hide your face. Champagne, I bite away.
He was always seen as being chatty and passionate about his work, and was always surrounded by friends and people who he loved. As Joshua worked in the grime scene, it raises the question again to see if the music is an influence for knife crime. Even though Joshua's crime was influenced by a personal problem, his career behind him still could have made him more of a target.
And I'm X-Freeze, place your bet please, guarantee that tech peas. Don't smoke dead cheese, but my strap with dead G's. You ain't smoking my nigga, rapper split your head, I'm only making.
This has been a worry for many parents and carers, especially with the amount of this music is available to young people today.
Be consistent. All these sticks and racks, you gotta keep them at a distance. In the blink of an eye, watch me risk it all like I never took a risk before.
Go over your head like a snapback. Uploaded a pic, double tap that, and your flow so old, granddad.
Including young people wanting to follow in the footsteps of their favourite grime and drill rappers.
Sophie, we know who you are. You're that girl who copies my bars. You're that girl who is a retard. Look at your makeup, look at your clothes. If you don't know me, I'm M to the B. Coming in hard, you better watch it, Sophie. You think you're the only girl doing grime. M to the B says that. Pussy raw, looking like balls. Standing on the street, kinda trying to get sold. So Josh, can't you see your reply was shit? So fuck off and leave. You kid, you must have some guts. You fucked it now. Just giving heads up and you're ringing.
Along with the kids being made fun out of by influencers.
Hold the bus, hang on, right? So he's just said, hope my mum and dad is proud because they had doubts that I couldn't spit. Hang on, so you're telling me, right, his parents, sat down at the table and be like, right, Jimmy, you've been doing really well at school, right, but your bars have been a bit weak recently, right, so no more Minecraft for 2 weeks. No, mate, they're probably wondering if you can pass your SATs, not if you can fucking get on BG Media TV.
Little T from Blackpool has gone on a lyrical warpath, setting fire to more bars than an arsonist in Wetherspoons.
It is a worry that this genre of music could be influencing young people to walk around carrying a knife.
So you're 13 and you've been arrested for
Knife point robbery.
Knife point robbery. Yeah. 13 years old being arrested for knife point robbery. What happened?
It wasn't even me. It wasn't even me.
Was it some people that you were with?
No.
So they just arrested you for knife point robbery?
Yeah.
Problem there. How do you feel about carrying a knife?
I'll carry it for safety.
We spoke to members of the public to see what their opinions were on what the influences and reasons behind knife crime are.
It stems from their upbringing. basically, allowing your child out at such an early, young age, doesn't come home at night. And how did they get hold of these knives? They're always so easily available to buy, obviously.
Yeah. Itself, it's a lack of opportunity. I think the internet has not helped. I don't think we communicate as well as we did.
Yeah, that's true.
With going out clubbing at night time, that's when it mostly happens, with drug abuse and alcoholism, I guess, causes aggression.
From this, we see that the music isn't only the main influence and leads us into thinking, could the government be doing more to help reduce knife crime? We also need to see how we can keep young children off the streets, including if we can invest in prevention schemes more. Preventing knife crime and supporting young people and victims is a major factor in trying to reduce the amount of knife crimes that are happening every year. We spoke to members of the public to see what they think we could do to help prevent the epidemic.
But I think young people, if they haven't got a vision, it's easy to get.
One person who's trying to help prevent knife crime is Alison Cope.
What motivated you to start that, and how did you get that organised?
It started off very much because Josh was absolutely one of the little people that made lots of mistakes.
Yeah.
And when I was going into a lot of schools around the country, pupil referral units, so young people that had been excluded, I was meeting some amazing young people, and they were coming to me showing me their artwork and all the stuff they were doing. So me being just general conversation, have you got your prom this year? We're not allowed to go. And I was hearing that over and over, and I thought, you're not allowed to go. And I was like, well, why aren't you allowed to go? And they were like, well, because we're excluded. So we've lost our place at that school, and this unit doesn't do a prom because there's only 20 of us. And I just remember thinking, well, that's not really fair. And then they were saying, yeah, we're not allowed work experience. We're not allowed to go at the end of term days out and the trips. And I thought, so you've lost your place in school and they're still penalising you, even when you are now showing how hard you're working. And I thought, well, I'll just do their prom. So that was my initial thought. And that went to trying to figure it out, and then it became the Joshua Ribera Achievement Award.
The Joshua Ribera Awards is held every year in a bid to reward youngsters who have improved academically or in character despite educational or life challenges. Most of the young people who attend these awards have either been kicked out of school or have been described as challenging to the education system. Alison tells us how she managed to get this award system started.
Together was incredibly difficult because they're excluded children, because they're viewed as the hard to reach young people. People were not supporting the event, so it's only now down the line that people are starting to support it, you see. So the first year I funded it a lot myself, got some people to help me, and it's about showing these young people that, you know, you've been excluded, that was a mistake, okay, but that doesn't mean your future isn't there, it just means that you have to work hard.
In the UK alone, over 1,000 children are expelled from school every year. Being kicked out of school has become so normal that even television shows are portraying the theme.
Get expelled? Nobody ever actually gets expelled. Rhonda Gallagher hasn't even been expelled, and she's an ARA. So that's probably why.
Along with easy to access story times of teenagers talking about their experiences of being kicked out.
I'm not gonna lie, I got excluded out of school quite a few times.
Let me talk about how I got kicked out of college.
Another aspect that involves children with knife crime is being homeless. 1 out of 10 young people are living on the streets.
We're seeing children sleeping with their parents on the night buses, children and parents sleeping in the accident and emergency departments of hospitals. We've known families who
was eventually refused. They were unable to work and so had to be supported by friends. Late last year, Tambara and Bayo had run out of options and so approached their local authority for help. They were turned away and found themselves homeless with their 3 sons.
As more and more young people are living on the streets, there is more and more funding and advertising going into youth clubs. Clubs that are designed for young people who can go and socialise with their friends and hang out in a safe environment.
Late last year, so it's relatively new.
This is where the Premier Youth Centre takes place, and on Mondays it's the younger session, which is age 8 to 12, and on Wednesdays it's the older sessions, which is age 13 to 18.
I would definitely recommend any young person, if they want to go to another area to go participate with other young people. I think it's positive.
Most of us are scared to go to different areas because it might be dangerous for us, but if you go to different areas you won't be scared.
By getting out and going to other places,
that they're not familiar with. It creates a situation where they're learning more, they're getting to meet new people.
You can take new skills from other youth clubs.
Back at Grove Park, locals have taken matters into their own hands.
I'm doing this to try and save the youth club.
Local parents have been told if they can fund it, they can save it. They've stopped the building being demolished. A property company has agreed to fund the refurbishment, but its future isn't certain yet.
We're getting there. We're clearing it all off, hopefully in the autumn or as soon as we can reopen the place. But it all depends on people power, and that's what saved this youth club from being demolished, people. So keep it up.
With the government not funding these clubs, it is up to the workers to find the money, including volunteers, who make sure young people have a safe place to go. This includes celebrities volunteering and helping young people have better lives.
Important as well. I did some volunteer work a few years ago, and they paired me with a child that was in care. And I still know him now. He's like 20, 21, 22, but I met him when he was 7. And that was like a friendship scheme. That was run by CSV, and that was an incredible experience for me, and hopefully for him, had some positive aspects. So I think if anyone can do any volunteer work,
it is easy to see how different aspects can influence knife crime. But it is also about how well we can help young people so the epidemic dies down.
We look at the incident that took place. They've kicked off of it a teacher, they've punched someone, they've done something. But the 22 people that I awarded, one had been sexually abused the majority of her life, so any situation she found hard. One boy had been stabbed, so was suffering from post-traumatic stress. Another boy spent every night looking after his terminally ill mum and just couldn't cope with mainstream school. So, you know, we need to be looking at why they were excluded. If it's just somebody that's genuinely, you know, got a perfect life but chooses to behave like that, that's different. So I just felt that I wanted to acknowledge the fact that they are as worthy as anyone else.
Run, run, run. Mama say come home before this.
We talk about their belief systems and why they act like they act. So we're really tackling real issues about life.
Award ceremonies, youth clubs and charities are all out there to help young people to try and prevent them from entering gangs surrounded by knife crime.
Every place I would go if I could fly. This feel like every summertime. Fall asleep dreaming about all the places I could go, and every one of them feels so close, still chasing time.
Watching my happy block, my whole neighborhood hit the diddy bop.